like, well, not growing up, like in my 20s, early 20s, I always be like, I don't want to be in a relationship with no guy right now. Well, I was dead ass. Because people be having their own baggage. I got my own baggage, and I don't want to be carrying your shit. Now my back hurt. You feel me? That was the type of energy I was on. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, the other day I had an epiphany, and I'm just like, low-key, high-key, we all got baggage that we cannot run from, right? I think that with life, you're going to always run into challenges. You're going to always have problems. So in return, you're going to always have baggage. Like, I think that no matter what, we're going to always be carrying a load because life is so crazy. And I think it's kind of unfair to say, I don't want to date anyone with baggage, because you have baggage. You know what I'm saying? We all have it. No matter how we view it or how we dip it and fry it or dye it, we all have it. And we're all different. So some people are like, I want to date somebody just like me. I want to be able to relate to whomever I date and things like that. But in hindsight, can we ever really relate to each other? I don't think so, because I feel like no matter what, we're all growing up differently. As long as you come from two different parents, even people who come from the same parents, their lives are completely different. Like, it's so weird. It's I would say somewhat very different. Like, me and my brother, we have the same exact two parents, and I would say we live the same exact problems, and to some extent, I'm saying it as it pertains to family and life and household stuff. But we're two very different people. So how can we say that we want to date someone that's just like us? Nobody is just alike. I mean, it could happen like with friendships. Sometimes you have things in common, but your struggles and your pains and things aren't the same. So I feel like that's something we kind of need to throw out. And I think those things, if you want a relationship, are things that might be preventing you from getting into a relationship if you want one. Because I feel like sometimes we'll get in a relationship and we'll deal with our partner or whatever, and we'll notice like, oh my God, he done told me he been through this, he act like this, he does this. Or shit, a man could do this shit too. Oh, she's a little off her rocker, she does this, she complains about this, she's very this, she's very that, he's very, like, we always saying, oh, they do this a lot and they do this a lot. But I mean, you know, like we all you gonna always meet somebody that's a little faulty, because we have so many different experiences, and not only do they affect us in bad ways, they might affect, you know, subjectively in good ways, right? So for instance, you might date somebody who's a neat freak. Maybe they grew up around somebody who's super clean, who put them on a timing schedule for cleaning. Like, you better have your room cleaned by 5. You better have the dishes done by 2. Meanwhile, when you was growing up, you didn't have to worry about dishes or doing the laundry and things like that. So are you telling me that, you know, those are I mean, for some, I would say those are really minuscule things to not want to date somebody for. That's my opinion. Is that you? Say extent. But let's say like, you know, we all do little things that are so different. So it's just like, you might think that you guys have so much in common, but what happens when he's not really the cleanest, or she's not really the cleanest? Maybe she was a mommy's girl. Maybe her mother just catered to her and she doesn't like cleaning up, or things like that. So it's just like, we all are different. I don't care what nobody says. We're all so different. We're all extremely different. And to say that you wouldn't give somebody a chance, or kind of run through the relationship to see if it could work, is a bit detrimental to one's love life. I would say so, because I feel like you just finished watching a clip from a podcast called Brit Says The Podcast. BRITTSAYS. If you want to watch that full episode, you can click right up here. And if you want to stream and listen to Brit Says The Podcast, this is available on all DSPs such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, DEEZER, iHEARTRADIO, anything you can imagine, you'll find Brit Says The Podcast. So go ahead out, listen, leave a review, and 5 stars. And while you're here, subscribe to my channel.